Alright guys, so today I'm just going to be going through what I think are the top 15 TURs in the game. So one thing I do need to talk about first is that I am not counting TURs of LRs, so you're not going to be seeing like TUR Kill and Khalifa on this list. These are just like TUR units, EZA units. I do count EZA units though. So starting off at number 15, we're going to have AGL Metal Cooler. And actually this all started because I was on the DOKKAN sub, and I saw some people doing like a top 5 TUR list, and I was like, man, I don't agree with this. And I had done a list very similar to this before, but that was just like on what I liked, and this is what I actually think is good. So I actually think AGL Metal Cooler is the 15th best TUR in the game. So I am going to break down why he's good and why he's not like higher. So one reason why he's not higher, Wicked Bloodline. It's a good team, it's not a big team. You don't have many options with Wicked Bloodline. Extreme AGL, again, it's one of the more limited types in the game. If you don't have the summonable LRs, it's not great. He lowers his attack and defense, which is fantastic. He gets attack and defense 80%, and then he can get up to 70% more attack, so he will hit really hard after he gets hit 7 times. And even after he just gets hit a couple times, he'll hit really hard. So he recovers 70% of HP. Not 77% of HP at the end of turn if he gets hit, which basically he might be the only unit in the game that heals at the end of turn. So like he shows up and then when he leaves he heals. And then he does turn into Metal Cooler Core, which is just a giant transformation. We don't need to talk about that. And one thing is, this guy isn't on like a crazy amount of categories. He's on Artificial Life Form, Wicked Bloodline, Movie Bosses, Giant Form, and Resurrected Warriors. So 5 categories is decent. On just about all of those categories, you can run him with a Frieza, which is good, except for really Artificial Life Form and Giant Form. And the reason I specifically brought up like a Frieza or a Cooler, it's because they all have like, you know, Strongest Clan in Space, which is a key link. If Thirst for Conquest, you know, just a good amount of links together. A lot of them have big bad bosses. So he's a good unit. 15 is what I have him at, and then 14. I'm surprised this guy is this low, to be honest. Dokkan Fest Kid Goku is an extremely good unit, okay? He's probably one of my favorite units in the game. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I like the way that he builds up. We're gonna break him down. So, one reason why he's so low, his leader skill, Dragon Ball Saga and Youth, those categories aren't the best. But his super attack, he does immense with a medium chance to stun. Stunning isn't as relevant as it once was, that's another reason why he's kind of down here. But as far as his passive goes and his active skill, he's great. He gets attack and defense 77% at the start of turn, and he gets an additional 59% attack. The more HP remaining, the greater the attack boost. And then he also gets an additional 59% defense, less HP remaining, more defense. And then at the start of each turn, he gets 1 key and 10% attack and defense. So he basically does what LR Gohan does, the LR AGL Gohan, except LR AGL Gohan can go up to 70%, this Goku can only get up to 59%. And then on the first turn where you fall below 59% HP, every single hit that he does is a guaranteed crit. And that is the same restriction that he has for his active skill. So on that rotation, you could get a crit on the active skill, a crit on a super attack, and then a crit on an additional super attack, and they would all be guaranteed. So any attacks that he does that turn are guaranteed crits. That's why I would always recommend using his active skill, like the first turn that you can. His links, I mean, for his own team, they're fine. Like Guidance to the Dragon Balls is a crazy good attack link. The Innocence for the youth category team is pretty common. The Incredible Adventure is another key link for the Dragon Ball Saga team. But for all of his other teams, these links aren't great. Low Class Warrior, that's not even really a team. Pure Saiyan, not many Pure Saiyans have Dragon Ball links. Goku's family, again, like because he is a youth Goku, the only other like youth Goku you could really run would be like a youth, like Grade 8 Goku, I guess. Dragon Ball Seekers, he works great on that team. Youth, obviously, Dragon Ball Saga, his teams. Kamehameha, he would work fine on. Master and Student Bond. He could work okay on Master and Student Bond, just because of the way that Future Gohan works, like where before he transforms, he would give this Goku a little bit of ki. So I don't know, he might be okay there, but this guy really pretty much only good on his own team, as well as Dragon Ball Seekers. So moving on to number 13, we've got Namek Goku. I was also surprised that Namek Goku I had this low. His team is fantastic. This is the first unit on this list where it's like his leader skill is really good. Super Saiyan, great team. Planet Namek Saga has some good units on it. It's not near as good as Super Saiyan, but Planet Namek Saga is an okay, thing. Now, one bad thing about his leader skill, he gives 130% to HP and 170% to attack and defense. Ideally, at least for me, I like attack and HP to be 170 and defense to be 130. But you know, that's personal opinion. So super attack causes immense damage to enemy and raises allies attack by 30% for one turn. I really like that because he does give that to all allies and not just super class, which they do with a lot of units where it's like he raises super class allies. But because he does it to everyone, if you run any of like the Frieza units on his team, because obviously Planet Namek Saga, they will also get that buff. And this guy, really good. After he gets hit a few times, obviously he will get stronger and stronger and stronger. His transformation condition, it's okay, it's not the best. I have gone through like multiple runs on the Legendary Goku event where I didn't get him to transform to like STR UI Goku, and that's just not great, because like obviously when he's a Super Saiyan, let's just skip up to Super Saiyan. Nope, that's Enraged. Not what I meant. Like obviously when he's here, he raises defense infinitely. But the thing about that is you want to get it early in the fight if you're in like the Legendary Goku event, because if not, it could be a little risky. Now another great thing about this guy, I probably should have moved him up, actually thinking about it. He has shocking speed and he has prepared for battle. So he has 2 of the 3 major key links in the game, which is just really good. As well as Super Saiyan, Fierce Battle. Obviously when he's base form he doesn't have Super Saiyan, but which is kind of funny because he's a Super Saiyan category leader, but you know, whatever. And then he also does have the Enraged form, which is just free damage basically when you get below 50% HP, and 5 turns or later into the battle, I think it is. So this guy, really, really good. I probably should have moved him up. I didn't take long to think about my ratings here. Just like, yeah, this is probably where he was. Okay, I didn't mean to click on that, so I guess that's the end of Goku. So then, moving on to number 12, I did have Physical Kid Buu. Physical Kid Buu doesn't have good leader skill. He doesn't do much on super attack. But all allies get 2 key and 50% stats when HP is 80% or above. So I do have Turles above this guy, because Turles and this guy are basically like for support. They're 1A and 1B. Because this guy, obviously, he gives more stats when you're above 80% HP, but he also gives less key. But if you fall below that 80% HP, then he only gives 30% attack and defense with no key. So I figured Turles is just much more consistent. That's why I put Turles above him. And I do value key a little bit more. So I'd say above 80%. I might like this guy more. I don't know. It's really a toss-up when this guy's above 80%, but when he's below 80%, it's not even close. Turles is better. And then obviously the next one, Turles. He has a much better leader skill as well. He gets movie bosses 3 key, 150%. He was kind of replaced as the movie bosses category lead, but still, this is a good leader skill. You can use it in multiple EZAs, the Family Coming High EZA, the Gogeta EZA. So it's like you can use him a lot still. Stunning isn't the best, but whatever. He gives all allies 3 key and 40%, and then he also debuffs the opposing superclass enemies, which is good. So the worst part about this guy is that he can transform. He has a chance of transforming after the 3rd turn if you're below 80% HP, which I just hate. I wish it was like an active skill, but obviously when this guy came out, active skills didn't exist. Now, he's not bad. He gives, he gets 130% attack and defense and recovers 15% HP, which is good, right? And he has a high chance to stun. He has a good passive. But the thing is, if you build your team around, like, if you plan on having this guy on your team, giving like key and 40%, and then he transforms, you could be having a bad time with key and stuff on your rotations. So this is the one thing that holds this guy back. Were we on like 11 now? I wasn't really. Hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we're on 10. I think I've missed this count somewhere, but we're on 10. So I think the 10th best T-War in the game is this Broly. Obviously, he's really good for the World Tournament. But that's not really why I have him here. I have him here because he has one of the best leader skills in the game. He has movie bosses and full power, like a full category leader skill, which is just insanely good. He raises his attack for 1 turn. He does cost Supreme, but it does hit everybody, so I guess, you know, pick your poison. He gets 6 key and 130% attack and 100% defense, and he transforms after the 4th turn from the start of battle. He's another one of those units that has prepared for battle and shocking speed, so it's just, he's insanely good. And because he's a movie boss category leader, well, I guess full power is really why you can do this, but you can run him with Friezas, and he actually works really well with Frieza units because He has prodigies, which a lot of Friezas have. I'd say a majority of Friezas have prodigies, as well as shocking speed. And it's like, he works reasonably well with Friezas. So he has great links for his team, even though he doesn't need he doesn't need prepare for battle and shocking speed, because assuming you're under like a normal category leader skill, he will have 6 ki, and then he gives himself 6 ki from his passive, so he's going to be auto supering no matter what. And when he transforms, he gets 8 ki. So it's like, that's not even necessary. He gets 188% attack. This guy, if you had him like all of the time, he would be launched up way further. But he's not difficult to transform with. Obviously, 4th turn, no other restrictions. That's not a bad restriction. It's just you don't have him all the time. So I feel like leaving him where he is fine. Obviously, massively lowers defense, which does make his Dokkan event very difficult. And he has a high chance of launching an additional super. Well, he always launches an additional, which has a high chance to become a super, is I guess what I mean. So that's Broly. And then moving on, we have Dokkan Fest Piccolo. Now, honestly, I think Dokkan Fest Piccolo, if he could transform on all of his category teams, he would probably be up here like 3 or 4, maybe even 2. Because Dokkan Fest Piccolo's transformation is the best TUR in the game. This card right here. This card is the best TUR in the game. It's just you can only use it on his own team, and because no one pulled Piccolo, you can't even use him really. So this guy, it's kind of sad, but he gives Namekian's category 4 ki and 170% stats. And because like this guy and the new Nail came out, the Namekian's category actually isn't that bad anymore. You obviously have the free-to-play Universe 6 Namekians. You have some good support units as well. So it's like, this isn't a bad team. And then Rivals, he gives 3 ki and 150. Rivals is like Vegeta cards. Rivals is a big category. But his team is pretty good. It's just no one pulled for him, so he can't really use his own team, which also means you really can't transform. He infinitely raises defense, which is insane for the Legendary Goku event, because, like, let's say, this is what I did in my run to get an easy no-item run. So I just kept him untransformed up until STR UI Goku, and then once we got to STR UI Goku, I transformed, because this Piccolo, he has 40% damage reduction, right? And because this guy infinitely stacks defense, by the time we got to, like, the STR UI Goku form, he had, like, 400,000 defense and 40% damage reduction. He was taking double-digit damage from super attacks from STR UI Goku. It was insane. And he also shows you where super attacks are. He recovers HP. It's like his transformation isn't great because you need one other Namekian's ally, which, like, on Rivals, like, well, I guess that's his own team, so that's not what I meant. On Android/Cell Saga, there are no other Namekians. You could run the Extreme Int Namekian, Demon King Piccolo, but he's not good. You could run it because of the secondary leader skill buff of Cell, but wouldn't really recommend that. Master and Student Bond, I actually haven't checked this category out, but I'm pretty sure you also can't run, Namekian on this team either, so not great. His links, though, for Piccolo are great. Z Fighters, Experienced Fighters, those are 2 pretty common attack links, actually. He has Shocking Speed, Fierce Battle. Brainiacs is kind of whatever, so is Cold Judgment. Namekians for his own team is fine. And this guy, it's like, if you ever get to this guy, he's the best TUR in the game. So he gets attack and defense 120%. He reduces damage received by 40%. He has a 10 to 40% chance to crit. The more HP remaining, the greater the chance. So if you're at max HP, this guy has 120% defense, 40% damage reduction, 40% chance to crit, and he recovers HP. And he also shows you where super attacks are. This guy is monstrous. This guy's insane. It's just you never really get to see him. So moving on again. I just lost track of the numbers again. We're not going to talk about the numbers anymore. This is 8. This is number 8. The number 8 is AGL Zamasu. I saw a lot of people in the Dokkan sub putting this guy at like number 2, and it's like, man, that ain't really it, King. So there's a lot to talk about with this guy because he does have a lot of transformations, and they are easy to see. Realm of Gods category leader, that leader skill is monstrous. It's insane. Also extreme class, which means you could run like Turles and Kid Buu on a Realm of Gods team. It's gross. So his leader skill is fantastic. On super attack, he lowers defense, which is kind of whatever. His passive gets 100% attack, obviously in this form, and he reduces damage by 40%, and he can recover HP when HP is 70% or below. And then from the 3rd turn of battle, he will transform into this Zamasu, Fusion Zamasu. And this does work even if he's just like in the 7th slot. If he's in the 7th slot, the first time you see Zamasu, he will be this guy. So obviously he still causes immense and greatly lowers defense. He gives himself 2 ki, he gives himself 20% more attack, and he still reduces damage by 40%. But like that's not great if we're really thinking about it, because he doesn't get a defensive buff, even though his like stats are crazy good. Or his stats here. Let's look at his stats. Rainbow, he has like 12,000 defense, which is extremely high, but he doesn't get any defense, so only having 40% like damage reduction isn't the best. He does also recover HP when your HP is 80% or below. If this guy just had like 50 or 60% damage reduction, or he had 50 or 60% defense on top of the 40% damage reduction, he would be much, much better. And then obviously, this guy is one of the hardest hitting TURs in the game. I haven't actually looked at that list, but he has to be up there. So basically, he causes immense damage to enemy, massively lowers defense, you know, that's how it be. He gets 4 ki, 280% attack from his passive, and he reduces damage by 20% and disables enemies' guard. Now he also does lower superclass allies attack by 10%, which isn't great, but like this passive is pretty gross. It's just he will take a lot of damage. This guy is the definition of a glass cannon. Pretty much in all of his forms too. Like, I guess in like the first 2 forms he won't take too much damage in like a normal event, but if you take him in like Super Battle Mode or the Legendary Goku event, this guy will get hit hard. So anyways, moving on. Right now I think we're at like number 7. 3. So yeah, we're at 7. Okay. So I actually have MVP 17 here. He doesn't transform. He doesn't have an active skill. He's just good. The androids team is fine. Okay, that's not why he's here though. On super attack, he lowers attack and defense. He causes immense damage. So already super good. He's a great linking partner for LR Goku and Frieza. So he gets 120% attack when performing a super attack, which is great. He gives all allies 3 ki and 60% defense, which is fantastic. Giving 3 ki and having 120% attack alone would make him a disgusting card. But he also gives 60% defense to all allies and reduces damage by 40% when HP is 77% or below. That is gross. So, and because he gives ki to the whole rotation, he's great on all of his teams. Androids, yes. Universal Survival Saga, yes. Representative of Universe 7, Siblings Bond, yep. Rivals is probably a team where you would use him the least, I would say. Because Representatives of Universe 7, obviously, you link him up with Goku and Frieza, he's gross. Siblings Bond, you have him on rotation with Gohan and Goten, he gives them extra ki, they need that extra ki. Universal Survival Saga doesn't really need him unless if you're running Goku and Frieza on this team. But he also does lower attack and defense, so on Representatives of Universe 7 and Universal Survival Saga, he's gross, because he activates all of their passive, as well as, not to mention the fact, he has Tournament of Power, so he'll be giving them, like, and Shocking Speed, he'll be giving them 8 ki, just by being next to them, as well as lowering the enemy's attack, which they need. It's gross. Androids really don't need the 3 ki, just because androids, they share a lot of links, like Twin Terrors, Infinite Energy. Is Android Assault? Yeah, that's a defense link, but still, like, these two, like, most androids have these 2 links, and that's, like, cumulatively 4 ki, and a lot of androids have Shocking Speed, so it's like, androids don't really need the 3 ki. They get it anyway, though, which is pretty good. Alright, so now we're at number 6. I did think about having this guy even higher, but I feel like people would be upset about that. This guy is obviously the easy A for the Metacooler movie Goku, and he's insane. He's just gross. So we're not going to talk about his not untransformed, but his uneasy aid state, because obviously that is not a good thing. But this guy, his leader skill isn't great. That's another reason why he's number 6 and not higher. But on super attack, he causes supreme damage to enemy with a great chance to stun. That is 70%. That is a 70% chance to stun for 2 turns, okay? So he has a 70% chance to stun. He gives himself 2 ki, attacking defense 80%, with a high chance to perform a crit. That's a 70% chance to stun and a 50% chance to crit. And if your HP falls below 50%, he gives himself 3 ki, 100% attack and defense, and a great chance to crit. So if you're below 50% HP, he gets 100% of 70% chance to stun and a 70% chance to crit. This guy is a monster, okay? Like, I didn't rainbow him, but because I don't have full copies, but I did just give him full abilities on my global recently. I gave him 20 additional and 6 dodge. that's going to trigger some people, but look, he has a high chance to crit all the time, at least. That's the lowest chance to crit he can have. But if you're below 50%, he'll have a 70% chance to crit. As well as the chance to stun, he's gross. He does everything well. He's obviously like not a support like MVP 17, because he's another one of those units that I call an all-around great unit. But this guy, he does a lot. So he's good. Now we're into the top 5. I think the 5th best TUR in the game is Transforming Trunks. I feel like people are also going to be upset that I don't have this guy as high as a lot of people probably would. But he's still extremely good. Future Saga, it's a good team. It became way better when this guy came out. Superclass, obviously we also did get recently the new Future Gohan, who hasn't been on this list yet. Is he on the list? I don't know. So he gives it 170 HP and attack and 130 defense, which is, in my opinion, the best leader skill. He also gives Superclass 3 key and 120%. This guy probably has the best leader skill in the game. If I'm just thinking about it right now, I think he probably does. It's him or Zamasu. And you can really just take your pick on which category you like better, if you like Superclass or Extreme Class better. So as an SSR, he raises attack and causes immense damage to enemy. And then he gets attack and defense plus 100% and transforms when conditions are met. And which is just from the 3rd turn, same as Zamasu. So if this guy's in the 7th slot, the first time you see him, you're going to see this card. And this guy is monstrous. He raises attack and defense infinitely, which makes him probably like the 3rd best unit for the legendary Goku event. He gets attack and defense 120%, and then each time he's on rotation, he gets 1 key up to 4, and an additional 10% attack and defense up to 80, which is crazy gross. And then, like, also if you're just like in a Dokkan event or something, you can turn into Spirit Sword Trunks, which this guy hits like a truck, because he changes key, and then he gets 30% attack per key sphere obtained. So he can hit like a truck, and he hits like Gogeta. So it's like he's effective against all types. So this guy overall is just gross. Now this guy and the next guy, I could probably switch them, but I don't know. So the next guy, it's in Future Gohan. I have him as the 4th best TUR in the game, and yes, I do. I don't think this is biased either. So this is mostly on his own team, but he can be great on pretty much any team other than Goku's family. Goku's family is the one place where he's not going to be the best, just because for him to transform, his transformation conditions are not bad at all. They're great. So it's just pretty much 4 turns, and if you have Trunks on the team, because 58% is not hard to stay above. But Goku's family is the one place where you can't really optimize him. But anyways, let's just start breaking him down. He's also a Hybrid Saiyans leader. He's Master and Student Bond or Hybrid Saiyans, 3 key, HP attack and defense 170%, and defense 130. That is another one of the best leader skills in the game, just because Hybrid Saiyans is such a large team, and Master and Student Bond isn't a small team either. He greatly raises defense for 1 turn and causes immense damage to enemy, which is good. It would be better if that was a stack, but obviously that would be gross, because he does have 100% defense, as well as if your HP like falls low, he reduces damage by 58%. And he's also a support type unit for Master and Student Bond category allies for 1 key and 30%, which might not seem like it's very good, but like it's enough, especially considering this guy, the one thing that holds him back is he does not have Prepared for Battle. That is one bad thing about him, but because he does have like Dismal Future and he has Saiyan lineage, like that's fine, I guess. And he also gives himself key, so it's like he's fine, like key wise. And once he transforms, he's gross. Like at 55%, he'll be hitting like 2.3 million. So he raises attack infinitely. That is an infinite attack raise. He gets 100% attack and reduces defense by 58%. That's just what he does no matter where he is. So, like 58% damage reduction, that is actually a huge buff from like what Zamasu does, which is only 40%, as well as the fact that this guy will always at least be getting 30% defense from himself. Like if there's no other Master and Student Bond category allies on the same turn, he will at least be getting 30% and 30% more attack and defense, which is crazy good. But most of the time, on his own team, you'll be getting at least 60%, probably 90%. So that's like 190% attack, 90% defense, and 58% damage reduction. It's gross, okay? And then he launches an additional super attack. There's an android category enemy. That's just like the cherry on top. He doesn't need that, but if he gets it, it's gross. Now, once again, this guy, he does not have Prepared for Battle, but he doesn't really need it, like at least himself, because he will be giving himself most of the time 3 key from his passive, as well as like on his own team, Hybrid Saiyans and Master and Student Bond, there's a lot of support type units, so that's really good. And this guy's good on all of his teams except for really Goku family. He can be good on Goku family. He can still be he just won't be able to transform. You will, if you run him on Goku family, you will only see this, unless if you run like an AGL Trunks, which probably exists. Okay, we're back. I didn't know that was going to be a cut, but it took me a while. So you could technically, on Goku's family, if you're running like a Super Saiyan 4 Goku lead, you could run the AGL LR Trunks, and he would count so that Gohan could transform on that team, but it's like, you probably wouldn't do that just to optimize Gohan a little bit more. You probably have better options considering how large of a category Goku's family is. But anyways, moving on to number 3, we got Blue Gogeta. I know some people are probably going to be surprised that Blue Gogeta isn't like number 1 or number 2. I just have him here because he's not the best defensively, and he is good. I'm not saying he's bad. Definitely not saying he's bad. He's the 3rd best TUR in the game. I'm not saying he's bad at all. Don't kill me. I know some people are going to want to kill me for saying that. His leader skill is also extremely good. He has Movie Heroes and Fusion, full category leader skill buff. Movie Heroes is slightly better, 170 attack, 150 other stats. Fusion gets 170 attack, 130 to other stats. He greatly raises attack for 1 turn. He gets attack and defense plus 120%. His attacks are effective against all types, and he has a medium chance of evading enemies' attack, which is 25 or 30. It is a 25% chance, okay. And after the 5th turn, he transforms into what is basically an LR level unit. Transformed, I would have him, he would be way closer to number 1. He would definitely be number 2, he could possibly be number 1. I'm not sure. His later skill stays the same. He greatly raises attack for 3 turns, which is a 50% raise for 3 turns, which is good. He gets 130% in attack and defense. He performs a guaranteed crit. Period. He has a high chance of evading enemies' attack. So it's like, this is good everywhere, except for the Legendary Goku event and isn't it the Tech Hit event where you can't dodge? So this guy's insanely good. The only reason he's not higher is because, like, you'll just see the 2 units I have up here, and you'll probably be upset. I'm not gonna lie. So number 2, I have Tech Golden Frieza. You can probably tell what kind of units I like now, because you already know who number 1 is. But number 2, Tech Golden Frieza. He gets attack and defense. Well, he gets attack 80% and damage received minus 80% when HP is 50% above. And if he falls below 50%, he still has 50% damage reduction, as well as an additional 50% attack. So if you fall below 50%, he will get hit kind of hard, but he will hit like super hard. So this guy's insanely good. He was decent before his Extreme ZA. Why did I say the first 2 words and then say whatever? He was fine before his Extreme ZA Awakening, but like after, he's gross. Like his links, obviously pretty good for all of his teams, because like full power, a lot of Friezas, transformation boost, a lot of Friezas, Wicked Bloodline is only Friezas, movie bosses, like all of his teams, even Resurrected Warriors is led by a Frieza, so it's like he's good on all of his teams. Now number 1, everyone knows what this is. I'm not going to talk about him for too long. Just, he gets 70% attack and defense, he gets an extra 40% attack after he's been hit, he has a medium chance to dodge after he's been hit, he guards against all attacks, he has the best link set in the game for an extreme type. Like, just look at this link set. Big bad bosses, shocking speed, metamorphosis, brutal beatdown, nightmare, fear and faith, and fierce battle. There is no better link set in the game for an extreme type, period. There isn't. He will link up with pretty much anyone if you put him next to them. Now, there are 2 downsides to this guy, and they aren't even really downsides, because, like, obviously, his leader skill isn't great, like all EZA units, and he doesn't have many categories. He only has 2 category teams, but on those category teams, I use him all the time. Like, movie bosses, he's on every single movie bosses team I make, and transformation boost, I've actually been using a lot lately, just because Super Boo came back on the Cell banner. A lot of people have him set as their lead, and I'm not upset about that. I like transformation boost team, but this guy is insanely good. I think he is the best TUR in the game. So anyways, guys, feel free to leave your list in the comments down below. But if you did enjoy this video, please consider leave a like, a comment, subscribing to the channel. My name has been Black, and I will see you guys next time.